Happy New Year. It's a new year, same me. You'd think I would have learned that after 23 years. Sorry, I just got distracted because the sun's kind of peeking out over there. It's been snowing all day. Evidently. And I should have been out here sooner, but, I didn't. Here's my... Oh my God. Here's my big thought. I was coming out here to try to say something profound when, of course, that never works. But the other day, I was at work, looking at my hands, and I had this thought. Like, you ever just think about your own mortality? How someday everything you touch, thought about, cared about, will it inevitably disappear? And your impact will have as well. It was because I was holding some glass. It's like, wow, that's kind of dangerous. And of course, now my hands are cold. It's always a little quieter when it's snowing. Physics. A wild thing it is. Here's another thought. I was talking to Avery. And of course, we got to religion. Oh, because I had watched 28 Years Later, Bone Temple, which I did not find as enjoyable as 28 Years Later. That was a good movie. That was fucked up. That was a good movie, though. And, a lot of nudity, but eventually it kind of just made sense. Like, it wasn't weird. It was like, yeah, humans. Just humans. Human things. 28 Years Later, very artsy, very thought out. Didn't feel like I was being spoon-fed. Bone Temple, not as artsy, not as interesting. There was this interesting moment, though. The rage virus was being treated by the crazy doctor in the woods. And, one of the ways they showed that he was returning to humanity was, instead of being naked in the wilderness, surrounded by nobody, he put on a little tunic. He hid his penis, his massive penis that was swinging around the whole movie. And it was like, that's humanity? Feeling, I guess, shame about your body? Because this is one thing, wearing clothes because it's cold out here. But that guy wasn't cold. He just wore clothes because all of a sudden he had to be civilized. I don't know. It was kind of an odd moment. What was I getting at? God. The main villain in the Bone Temple was a Satanist, quote unquote. He thought Satan was his father, supposedly. Turns out the guy was just a grifter, of course, using divinity, divine power as his grift. He was instilled with divine power. The 7 fingers of his hand. Each finger is a claw. Jimmy was a psychopath, but also he was the Jesus grifter. That was his archetype. And in the end, he was crucified by his followers. And if other people came across his body, they did the crucifixion right. I said this at least twice. They got it through the wrist. That's how you do it. Between your 2 arm bones. Either way, if someone came across his body, they would probably think that he was like a Jesus figure, you know? I hadn't thought this through enough, but there was definitely some very interesting social commentary and religious commentary. I just don't think it was as well done as 28 years later. Different director. I wouldn't have thought it would make that big of a difference, but yeah, I guess. Either way, the world is it's fucking falling apart, man. This shit's crazy. And it's crazy that people believe in God, and yet they also believe that this oh-so-powerful God couldn't fathom physics, evolution, quantum mechanics, that somehow science disproves that their God is holier than thou. Come on. If anything, it proves that your God is so far beyond us humans that you should be celebrating every advancement in science and be like, that's my God. But of course, big part of religion is just controlling people, grifting, to say the least. And somehow religion, capitalism, racism, all come together in one clusterfuck. And America is run by Nazis. Fucking bonkers. The wrap it all around. The very end of 28 Years Later, Bone Temple. Cillian Murphy, is that his name? Cameoed, because of course he's going to be in a third movie. And he said, you know, if you forget history, it's bound to repeat itself. And it's like, history, it wasn't even that long ago. It hasn't been 100 years. And it's repeating hard. In a very new age way. So, it's a very detached society we live in. Because this is awesome. And, you know, I feel like it's forgotten about. I feel like I've said that before, but this is sick. It's a bummer that we have to be wrapped up in pointless shenanigans, money, power. That's what the main theme in Bone Temple was. It was people are the real monsters. I sometimes forgot that there were even zombies in it. Forgot it was a zombie movie because the people were so fucked up. It's like when the whole world around you is falling apart, you're still choosing to be a fucked up individual and kill your fellow survivors and try to control the ones around you. You can't work together even a little bit. Poignant? Is that the right word?
Poignant.
It's a good point. That's all. Yep. I gotta go. Not that way. I'm not going that way. Anyways. Talk to you later, Pablo. Bye-bye.